Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. Hello. All right. Woo. Here we go. We are back fully into the swing of things, feeling good. Playing some Last Epoch. We're just gonna dive right back in. I didn't play that much on this character in the downtime, so we're we haven't made too much extra progress. I don't actually have changed anything since. Oh, I changed my amulet. That's all. Yeah. Ow. This is painful. Okay. Fine. Fine. All right. Welcome to the Last Epoch dev stream. If you have any questions for me, preferably about Last Epoch, I'd be very pleased to answer them. Please put at Last Epoch Game in the chat. Let me know that you're looking to ask a question. YouTube and Twitch chat, we're pulling questions from both, and they're going over here, and I'll do my best to answer them. We do stream for charity. We're stream for childs. We've been doing that for a while, but we really like them, so all the everything from stream goes to there. Let's have some fun. There's been a lot of, just like a little side note, I guess, there's been a lot of really great discussions I've been seeing pop up on Reddit and Discord and our forums and in-game chat even too, about various things we can do to improve the game even further, and I really love reading those. Always a big fan of that. So even if we don't respond, we respond to a lot of them, but even if we don't respond, we're probably lurking in the shadows reading them, and they've been really good lately, so thanks everybody that's been doing that. Woo! Alright, first question in, what is your favorite skill or mechanic in the game? Favorite's tough. I really love playing, like this character that I'm playing right now is my this is my comfort zone. This is very much my comfort zone. It's this agile, ranged character. This is like the last D&D character I played was basically just this, and like this is just like my comfort zone. So I might be my favorite. But if I'm gonna pick like a favorite mechanic, I really love subverting expectations. So I think my favorite probably happens when we're doing things like, when we're doing things like two-handed melee on a rogue, or like, like Spellblade kind of just does that inherently. I played a lot of Enchantress in D2, things like that. You know, that's my favorite types of mechanics. When you're kind of doing things the wrong way but making it work. And a big thank you to Spike for a full 2 years. Wow. There we go. Thank you very much. That's a big one. Woo. Trying to die right as that's happening. we're in like just barely good enough gear for Empowered. This is the new amulet I got. Not fantastic. But much better than what we were wearing. Infernal246, thank you very much for the 3-month resub. That is wonderful. Love the season. Super looking forward to season 3. Yeah, me too. It's always so hard to like, especially when we're like early in teaser season. It's really hard to not just start blabbing about the new stuff that's coming. Even like as we're releasing a patch, like season 2's coming up, we're like, I know certain things are happening in season 3 already. It's like, God, it's gonna be so great. But thrilled with how this one's going. All right. All right, lots more questions here. I should be answering some of them. In Stash Tab's quick view window, is there an option to add a small button on the category to collapse and open the category? You have 150 Stash Tabs and just scrolling through them from top to bottom is a bit of a hassle. Thanks, amazing, great. Yeah, okay, yeah, like like this, collapse them like this. Yeah. Does it not do that at all yet? By the way, PSA, if anyone doesn't know, if you press G in game, you open this wonderful game guide that has all sorts of fantastic information on all sorts of things. And bonus, you can link it in chat as well. If someone's asking about something, you'd be like, here's the game guide info about it. But yeah, let's just definitely not write that down because I'm definitely not in the middle of making a design document for stash upgrades or anything like that. I'm gonna write this one down though. I don't write things down from chat, but sometimes, you know, gotta. Here. There we go. Hey, Mike, with the addition of the capybara pet, we are now forced to dedicate a pet slot to the capybara. Any plans on adding a third pet slot? Or maybe a dedicated capybara slot? Probably not. 3's a lot. You know what I'd really like to see, though, on a personal note here, is I'd really like to see, like, a town pet slot. I don't know, I really like having pets hang out with me in non-combat areas, and I find them just a little bit distracting in the game. So you may notice that I don't have any pets open right now. Which I should probably let's get some cool pets. Appearance pets. Let's do some cool ones. What's some cool ones? Ooh, the owl. Yeah, we just got the new. I forgot to put this in the deck today. Let's talk about this right now. The old Twitch drops from a previous campaign are being added temporarily back in for a little Twitch droppy event. Talk about it right now. Boom, there it is. So I'll be playing with the owl pet for fun. So there's another Twitch drop. Bringing some of the Twitch drops back. Let's push this down a bit. So I can keep playing. I know that's why we're all here, right? There we go. I recently discovered the joys of Paladin life and discovered T4 dungeons don't provide a challenge. Any plans for T5 plus dungeons in the future? I think that speaks more to the power level of certain builds than the difficulty of that individual content in this particular instance. I do think that there's room for new challenges as well, though. I'd really like to see mechanical differences in dungeons. So dungeons is one of those things that we kind of put on pause a little bit, I think, because there was a lot of similar overlap in design space and functionality with Woven Echoes. And also we really wanted to have proper procedural generation or PCG stuff. And so I think now that the procedural generation has been tested and is functioning quite nicely, I think there's a lot higher likelihood of like going back into dungeons to either add more, update existing ones, all that sort of stuff. And
easy. Too easy.
Yeah, balancing and difficulty scaling and all that sort of stuff would be on the list as well. It is interesting because they don't scale with corruption. I almost like to see, because they don't scale with corruption, it does have this sort of, I don't know, odd fixed difficulty thing, which is, it's a difficult thing to do because it's important to have fixed difficulty content that you can benchmark against. But having content that is important for endgame crafting that gets sort of like scaled out, can can sometimes be less interesting. So I guess it would be nice to have that content still be relevant in the super late game. Hi Mike, I was wondering how you feel about Uber Aberoth now that it's been out for a while. Too strong or worthy challenge? Also, what corruption should we expect to reach to beat Uber Aberoth? Currently farming a little over 1k corruption. It would be nice to have a benchmark to reach. It's a really tricky thing because how good a character is at farming corruption, like how farming echoes, doesn't always directly one-to-one translate to how good it's going to be in a boss fight. So I guess it's the number that I've been hearing from a lot of people, like out and about, is about 1,000 corruption is sort of reasonable to get to before you're able to comfortably do Uber Aberoth, or before you should be expecting to be able to do Uber Aberoth. But I mean, like we've seen lots of people do it at way less than that, and we've seen lots of people have to get way higher than that as well. So it's I don't think there's really a fixed number exactly, but 1,000 seems like the going rate that I've seen most people talk about. We don't have an expected value internally. But overall with Uber Aberoth, I'm pretty pleased. It is clearly difficult and clearly possible with a high level of mastery and less potent builds. Like not to mention the like, is it possible with, we've had the question answered, is it possible with perfect magic only gear? Which it is apparently possible with perfect only gear. Sorry, perfect magic only gear. But it was absolutely perfect in every way. Even the like implicit rolls, which was sweet. Cool to see. Let's turn that off. Can I go through this wall? No. All right. But yeah, Uber Aberoth I think is overall very successful. Perfect? No. Right. Looking good. Whoa, that was. Oh, the lasers aren't anywhere near as dangerous as they were before. the muscle memory of that laser run. It's good. It's good to have. It's good to have, but it's not as backbreaking as it was. It's a shattering. Nope, not shattering. We're still going for red ring. It's happening one of these days. Don't worry, it'll happen. But today is not that day. I really have to re-examine my idols. I've been picking up a lot. I haven't done anything with them in a long time. I saw an amazing idol the other day. Hey Mike, how would it be to craft glyphs and runes? Maybe rare ones with common. Oh, like a rune trade up system like you see in Diablo, where like you put 3 L runes and you get an L rune, you put 3 L runes and you get a tier rune, whatever it is, F, Nef. I don't know the exact. I used to be able to do the exact order, but yes, I think that's the sort of thing we've talked about, but not really. I don't think it's on the list right. I know it's not on the list right now. I do love the idea of having like crafting style materials that you can build from one into the other. I do like that feeling and how that plays a lot. I think it would have to be with a new resource. Yeah, I'll get rid of this one. I've fallen into my own bad habits. I started setting things up so well, and I've just got these dump ones now that I've just got to organize still. Bad Mike. I love the stash search updates. If only I could see the found items. Please increase the contrast and add an active border like the other search functions have. Take pity on my poor old eyes. I will make a note, because I am trying to figure out exactly what to do for stash updates right now, so I will write this down, which I never do. They say I never do. This one might already be working on. I don't know. Love the game. Wondering if updating the in-game models of uniques to match the thumbnail art is on the development list. The art is gorgeous, and so would love to see the models in-game. Yeah, this is a classic question for us. Our 2D art pipeline and unique item development pipeline is much faster than our 3D model art pipeline, and so every patch we add new 3D models for gear. Every patch we also add even more unique items than that. So we end up we're in a unique 3D art deficit right now. So every patch we get further and further behind, even though we are adding more and more every time. So this is something that we are interested in improving. I don't have an ETA on when we're going to be caught up, if ever, but it is definitely on the list. Because yeah, we'd love to have everything, all the 2D and 3D arts match up perfectly. Because there are some really cool ones in here. Like I know everyone. This is an exact example, but yes, having quivers show up. Same question, same answer. Ooh. Yeah, okay, so the hey Mike, can you further elaborate on recent bug fix regarding imprinted items? From the anecdotal experience, it feels like an unfortunate downgrade from what we felt to work well. Yeah, I think this is interesting, and I think I think there was too big of a gap. Well, like first of all, it was always meant to work the way it's working now. There was too big of a when it was working before the previous way. There was too big of a gap between, like, let's just use Red Ring as the example. I think this is the classic example that most people are thinking about with this, and I think it put too hard of a split into the have not category, and it's like everyone that has one, it's really easy to get more. And so like once you get over that threshold of just one, it makes it open the floodgates a little too much. So now that there's new ways to break into that category by getting other unique items turning into it, and the difference from not having it yet is much smaller. And I think that that's overall a good thing. And I understand that it feels difficult having something and having that thing reduced or removed a little bit. Maybe the rate needs to be lower for differences. Maybe the rate needs to be higher for going up onto like higher rarity ones or something like that. I don't know. But I think having the ability for it to switch which one is important and more intuitive in general, I think. Which is really the most important part, I would argue. But yes, if you are, if you disagree with me, totally fine. Please go put feedback or suggestions on our Discord channels. We do look at these constantly. And just because we made a change doesn't mean we can't make another change. So yes, please give us your information. Oh, not like that. Give us your feelings. I do kind of want better dot defenses. I don't really use damage over time damage, so I feel like I'm only getting half this node. I was always tempted just more glancing blow. More glancing blow. Dexterity is always nice too. Please add stash macros and other stuff from last hotfix to that G menu. That's a good idea. Please go put that in our suggestions channel on our Discord. I think there's definitely less things to search there. But having consistent searching options throughout the game would be, I think, a real positive thing. Like also, I guess in like this search as well, like being able to search. I don't think I assume it's not there. All right, now that sets are in a slightly better place, can we get a Saigon-inspired set? Maybe a helm body, armor, tower shield, shiny silver with a horn helmet. I love where your head's at. We've been very careful to have much smaller sets in general. I think if we did that, the set bonuses would need to like doing a 6-piece but only having a 3-piece bonus, I think might be interesting. Also, thank you very much for Shaved Dome. Let's appreciate you. Ooh. Multi-champions. All right. Over there. Yeah, you fell victim to one of the classic blunders. Never get involved in a land war in Asia, and never go in against me when death is on the line. All right. Now that sets are into that. Yes, I do love the classic leveling set there. I also do think that it is a really great time for us to start making more sets, because I do think that the system changes that we put in place were really good, but we just need more sets to make them be really, I think, a more common part of people's thought process when making builds. I think there's now that we've got the system in a much better place, there's lots of room for really good things that we can put in there. I think this is a really good indicative of a lot of things we're doing right now. A lot of places we are with a lot of systems where like we've got this really great woven ecosystem that it's really easy to like add in new elements to that now. We've got this good set system that's really easy to add new elements into that. And I think there's a lot of systems now where it's easy. The systems are working really well and they're in a really good position. There's good space for us to like start just adding content to those systems. I love it. That's my favorite thing to do. And welcome to the raiding party from Killer the J. Also, thank you very much for the sub, Harold. Harold Akakiryu? I'm sorry if I butchered that. But thank you very much. Appreciate you. I just discovered your game this season, and I've been having a blast playing Warpath with WASD controls. The latest patch changed how this works, and you can no longer spin in place. Is this intentional? Is there a setting to toggle this back? I'm not sure, actually. Because using a movement skill always counts as moving. I think you always have to be moving with Warpath. I'd have to look that one up. Sorry. Thank you very much for the sub, Loopy, as well. I feel as a person with a small child, the name is very reminiscent of two shows the kid likes to watch. It's a mix of Bluey and Blippi. Bluey much better than Blippi. Any parents of small children out there, and if you don't know about Bluey yet, check it out. All right. Would it be possible to enable scaling for ambers? I think as an endgame currency, it would be reasonable to have it drop more on higher corruption. At the same time, make pushing a bit more fun and purposeful. Yeah, this is a tricky one. I know we've talked about this one quite a bit, and it was intentionally set to not scale. From what I remember that at the end of that conversation, it was a while ago. If it did scale, I'd like to see it scale non-linearly. I'd like to have decreasing returns. You know, it might not be popular, but I think that would be the best. We can go one more. Let's oh, I was in the middle of doing a big chain, wasn't I? Which one was I on? I can go back to it later, it doesn't matter. I just remember that I set out, before I went offline last time, I set out like a big chain to the outer edge, hit in echoes. Which timeline was that in though? Hey, Mike loved the new possibilities with the crafting system, but was wondering if you've thought about adding a new way to leverage bricked legendary items. Maybe use them to infuse forging potential. So yeah, the like method for bringing a bricked legendary item back into the fold, we do have something for that, which is re-rolling re-rolling a unique item with similar legendary potential or legendary affixes count. So like if I found another crystal wind that was 1 LP and I wanted to re-roll, like if I thought that, hey, this one's got like, oh, this one's got terrible increased movement speed, maybe I found another one that had or like medium increased or something, I don't know. Certain stats are good and you want to keep certain things, but you want to reroll the stats on it. So I want to reroll this increased movement speed. You can take another crystal wind and reroll it. So you can use bricked ones to reroll existing ones. And that's sort of like the reroll outlet or the outlet we've given for bricked legendaries. It's kind of been a hard, fast rule of never put, oh, that's nice. I did not notice that was automatic when this was opened. Huh. Couple of those in there. That's. Hey, thanks, game. Sure, let's do this. New search coming in perfect. Yes, as far as infusing forging potential back onto items, that's kind of a and without very significant changes to the design of forging potential, the ability to add forging potential onto an item directly is a hard no right now. Kind of the closest way we have for that is by imprinting the item and finding something similar but different that may have more forging potential. It's kind of the only way we have to do it right now. And it's not like it gets around it by not being the same item.
Easy.
Alright. Any plans to introduce new kinds of sets similar to the last bear set for attribute stacking enthusiasts? Not specifically, but I mean, there are plans to add new sets, and attribute stacking is a perfectly viable thing to focus on for a set. Probably wouldn't be in Primalist theming if we were to do another attribute stacking set. Probably would be more in like any of the other ones themings. Right. And he plans to introduce a per skill stat page. Yes. Yeah. Kind of getting annoying having to calculate how much crit I actually have with certain skills with all the modifiers that don't show on base. Yeah, this is so you may have heard people ask like, oh, when's the character sheet rework coming? This is the fabled character sheet rework that has been. We announced that we were talking about doing this, like 3 years ago. This is when we last were like, yeah, we're gonna add this in. We've got mock-ups from years ago where there's like a flyout panel that's got specific skills on it. There's other versions where it changes this whole. You can like drop down, like instead of you, it's your skill. We've got different mock-ups, different versions of it. It is not in active development right now. I would say it is still in the waiting list. Ooh, that's spicy. Everyone dead over there? Is it safe to walk over there? Have there been any discussions around the skill screen search allowing search for text in skill trees from the overall skill screen? I see what you're saying. I don't think so. This might allow you to find skill synergies easier. Yeah. I understand what the purpose of this that you're going for. I know we always try to keep things, if it's possible, if it's a tool that's required or that we think is really useful, we do try and make sure that it's available in game. The equivalent version of this that I do use personally every once in a while on Last Epoch tools is the there's like a skill sources section that I will check out frequently. But yes, you're talking about having this search be able to search into a tree. So if we say like if you search like crit here, it would like highlight all of the trees that had crit nodes in them, that sort of thing. Yeah, I do like that. I think because there's so many words. Yeah, we'd have to have like the more narrow. I've already done this one. Yeah, I've already done this one. We'd have to have the more like the macro search in the in there already, I think. Because it would be so vague for the most, like there's so many, the current search, like there's so many words that like I bet if you search crit, every single tree would light up, you know? Do like the idea though. Hello, Mike. Does the team plan to add more in-map mechanics to the game? Yeah. I think that would make the game a lot more enjoyable. These similar to Nemesis and Cemeteries. Yeah. We do have plans to add more things like that. There's sort of a, like, I think we're getting close to a good amount of in-map mechanics for like a base game level, like base game, like the wrong word, like the set of core mechanics that persist always in season to season. I think we're getting pretty close to a good number for that, with then like temporary mechanics that show up as well on top. I think we're getting pretty close. Not quite there yet, but pretty close. Okay, more questions. Have there been discussions around the skill screen? Yes, I have already answered that question. Mike, you gotta read before you speak. Been playing since 0.8, enjoying every update. Wonderful. Curious if the new Tolmat's incorrect history, yes, might be your beta test for Spectre's skill. And is there a reason Primalist can't offhand daggers or scepters? I don't think it's. I don't think that was the purpose of the incorrect history. I think it was just the fun mechanic that people were like, hey, this would be cool. As far as offhanding daggers, it's usually the situation of we don't. The things we put in offhandable items are the ones that we think would be good to dual wield that item directly. And so like a Primalist with 2 daggers feels kind of weird. Feels kind of like more rogue theming, maybe in the Acolyte theming a little bit too. But that dual dagger setup, and then scepters just in general, I don't think anything can offhand scepters. I think partially just from a theming standpoint, like 2 scepters isn't really a very typical setup for just about anything, I don't think. It also comes down a little bit to having some options that are not some unique weapon options that are not dual wieldable. So if there's a mechanic that we want to put on a weapon slot that we're like, we know that we don't want anyone to be able to dual wield this, there's like different degrees of where we can put that for being dual wieldable. And so there's a few things we can do. We can either make the mechanic not function very well dual wielding, and that feels less good than just having it not be in a situation where it can be dual wielded. So if it's a mechanic that like only really works, having that space for us to be able to design mechanics in is really nice. It's pretty rare that we run into that situation, but apparently I'm sleepy today. Feel good though. Are there any plans to update the Nemesis system? Maybe a node to have similar items to what you're wearing on, have them fight you with your own skills or something. Yeah, we talked about having them use player abilities at one point. The arena champions, not to be confused with the champions that you find in Echoes, but the arena champions, that in the limited arena, like when you go, where is it? You go here, you go to Champions Gate, and you go into the arena there, and there's a not the endless arena, but the limited one, and the boss at the end of that. That was our first attempt at doing a like, hey, this is like another player character that uses player character abilities. And I really like that. So I would love to get more of those in. I don't think fitting that into the Nemesis is fantastic, really. It could work, I guess, but I'd be more interested in having that show up as a separate mechanic, where you could actually like use a full kit. I still want to incorporate the arena champions with some sort of like whoever was near the top of the ladder last season, and they get like their character gets turned into a arena champion for next season. That I would love to do. There's any of these that are shatterable. It's a lot of mana, but it's so not what we're using. You base is not great, but the rest sure is. Identity crisis of an item. Yeah, still nice to shatter. Okay. think I was done with the question. I can't remember what I was talking about exactly. If it seemed like I was not done, please feel free to ask that one again. Because I've completely forgotten what I was saying. Can we get an in-game database of uniques where we can look them up after we find them? That way we can use to think about and ponder a new build, searching for keywords. Ah, yes, the Pokedex question. I love the idea. I think that having a it's also the Grail Hunt question. So this is before season 2 when this question came up. What I would say is there's some new tech we're adding that's going to make something like this a lot easier. And which was these imprint slots. So these imprint slots are, that seems weird. Weird. We're gonna do this. The chance seems really high on that other one. Anyways, I think this is the sort of thing that would go really well for this type of thing, where you could, when you find items, when you find unique items, it would go into, or you could manually put them into, if you want to be like, okay, here's the collection one that I have for this one. You can put like your favorite of that thing in your stash, having like a stash tab that was an imprint stash tab for uniques. That's the way I'd want to see it. Where you could track like each item that you found. I don't think having it automated would be the best way to go about it. Because having it recognize which one's better. So you always want to like be able to put like the best one in there. Or if you found one, put one in and then trade it away, that sort of thing. You wouldn't want to have to decide for you which was the best version. So I think you'd want to have that be a manual process. But yeah, I don't know. I'd really love to do it though. Having a way to track that, like a Grail quest is like to find every unique in the game. That's a pretty classic like ARPG alternate challenge thing that people love to do. And I think facilitating it would be really cool. Yeah. My friend, what an incredible job you have done and can continue to do. Thank you very much. Congratulations and thank you on the wonderful game. Keep going strong and please keep fighting against the exploits. Always. Always. I'm glad you're having fun. That's the best part, really. Thoughts on Primalist proccing a Terra's Blessing on melee hit similar to Paladin? I think the fact that it's similar to Paladin plays against it more than anything, because you want to like having things be unique is really the best part. So like I think if Paladin didn't have it, there'd be a better argument for it, personally. Not to say it's impossible or anything. Still gotta make this one taller, right? There we go, lovely. Okay, where are we gonna plant some stuff? We're gonna go on a trek? Let's go on a trek. Loot great for a rogue. Sure, sounds good. I'm gonna go out this way. And we go out this way. Go out this way. Let's do one of these. And one of these for fun. Why not, right? Let's take a trip. We're going hunting. How about incorporating some weekly challenges throughout the season? Is that doable? Like, what sort of challenges? I do like the idea of having like minor content changes that rotate automatically. I love that. Just little things where it's like, oh, did you beat the challenge this week? I do like daily chess puzzle, and I do a daily like the connections and the Wordle and things like that. Those little daily puzzles. I love those things. And so like I guess like a weekly challenge would be pretty good. I don't like I think the problem is that they can't be exclusive rewards for doing the daily every day or the weekly every week, that sort of thing. So it's like if you like miss one, having that job feeling to it, I think is the problem. But yeah, having it just like it's like, oh, you've been playing and there's just something a little bit different, a little bit new to experience and try out. But the like it's not a one-time thing, and so like if you want to do it 80 times this week you can, but it's not super duper interesting after you've done it once or twice. And whether you do the challenge once or 100 times, you still get the same reward for each one, or the same chance at the same reward or something. I think that would be the best way to do it. We've got some bits. Some bitty bits. Hi Mike, I was wondering if you planned on making any changes to Tempest Strike. Since the rework, it really only gets used to enable another skill and not as a damaging skill itself. Are you happy with the role of it? I'd love to see it stand alone as its own build defining skill. Yeah, I think it's I don't know, I haven't made a build with Tempest Strike recently, so I don't have any first-hand experience this season to draw on. But generally what you're saying is the goal is to get abilities to be able to be built around if you want to. I mean, everything's gonna have good and bad seasons as far as how strong it is to build around and that sort of thing. And you know, it might not be up there right now. It could come back around. That was close. I think we got really lucky there. I'll take it. 1 LP Raptor to start. Not terrible. Don't hate that.
Easy. Too easy.
Right. Can you increase or change the locust duration into a perma-summoned minion? They last at base too short, in your opinion? Probably not. Permanent minions are, especially in a summon like that, or in a transform like that. I think it runs the risk of like using the form to summon the minions.
That was close.
And then like prepping with it. It would probably have to like come coupled with like as soon as you leave Stormblade, they disappear, which wouldn't be great either. Yeah. Yeah, I could see like an item or a node or something that would maybe give some of that feeling. But permanent, I'd struggle to pitch that one. I think. Some of the woven echoes, especially Orden's Watch. Oh yeah, sorry, it's like underlined and a weird background there. It's fine. Gauntlet of Strife and Champions Coliseum feel like they are overtuned. Are there any plans to balance the difficulty of those echoes? Not specifically those echoes, but yeah, we do plan to balance all the echoes. once like we check the lots of places for feedback, specifically a feedback channel on our Discord. That's the number one place. If you've got things that are feeling too hard or too easy, like see change, that's the best place to put it. We'll at some point go through and just be like Control F, echoes, woven, that sort of thing, and see what info is on that topic in there, and probably take a look. Oh, thanks, Wick. Yeah, much nicer. I don't have the whole thing in dark mode, so it was tricky before. Been enjoying running a melee non-pet primalist this season. Any plans on expanding dual wielding to allow two-handed plus shield or two-handed plus offhand? I think it's unlikely we'll put two-handed plus shield or two-handed plus offhand in primalist as it is now. I think if we were to see a new like giant script type effect, it would probably be on a new mastery. If we were making a new mastery, you could probably save something like that for a new mastery. I don't even know if it would go on primalist if we did, but like I think that's where we would see something like that next, because it's already on Forge Guard. It's a pretty defining mechanic, and it's fun, it's interesting, and it's the sort of thing that could carry a mastery pretty well, I think. And so I'd probably would look for it more. Yeah, I'd probably hope, if I was going to be putting one of those things in, I'd probably be looking for a place in a new mastery play. That's, yeah. I do love that type of mechanic where it's taking something that, subverting expectations. It's taking a two-hander and putting it in a one-hand slot sort of thing. So you're speaking my language. But two-hander plus a shield is pretty firmly in Forge Guard right now. I don't see that going to a primalist. What do you think about a woven echo where you can take two of the same class idol and smash them together and make one different idol with the chance to get affixes from both? Recombination of idols is what this question is about. This can use the recombiner tool in PoE. But it's random from those 4 affixes before. There's something idols with identity crisis that otherwise is useless. Yeah. So the idol enchanting that you see at the end of cemeteries and tombs, one of the front runners for that mechanic for a very long time was an idol stat recombiner system. This was we chose idol enchantments instead. Specifically because it doesn't change the drop chance that an idol is, the chance that any idol given when it's dropping is good. So the chance, so like if idol recombining is a thing, it means the number of idols that you're picking up skyrockets by like 10x. Because the potential for them to be really good, because you could combine it with another, it's just as long as one of the stats is good, it doesn't need 2 of the stats to be good and complementary. It just needs 1 stat to be good. Changing the relative rarity of idols with each other and the difficulty and time it takes to get an individually good idol to start building off of with enchantments, and also the number of idols that you'd be picking up. And he plans on letting Harbinger eyes drop from collapsing horizon and fading brink. Not currently, no. If you'd like to see it, head over to the suggestions channel in our Discord, and we'll consider it at least. The same with all these things. I don't say that every time, but any one of these ideas, if you ever want to see something put into the game, that's the best way to get it added to the game. Unless we've like specifically put in a call for something on like Reddit or something. We do that once in a while. We're like, hey, we're looking for ideas for XYZ. 8 Weaver as well. Stays on the ground. We're not even done swing yet, are we? What are we doing here? I've been playing around with the new volatile reversal, but it feels so slow with an animation both before and after movement that doesn't scale with attack or cast speed. Any plans to improve the speed and make it feel better? We are working on ways to make attack and cast speeds scale movement ability use durations. Currently, it's just not an option. There is a prototype of that in the game, which everybody uses, and it is working pretty well. So we are working on that. But it's not in at the moment. And it's just to be clear, we're not talking specifically about volatile reversal, just movement abilities that use attacks that look like they should work better for attacks. The Dancing Strikes is the catalyst for this, really. Dancing Strikes is the poster child for this problem, and has been an issue since its inception, really. It's the same issue that old Tempest Strike had, where like it's something we've learned. I think that attack speed, not scaling attack speed, is just, it's not something people like. Even if it scales something that has the equivalent effect in power, like it's just, people don't like it. People want attack speed to scale attack speed. So something we are learning, which I know is the most like obviously, Mike, what else would you expect type response, but you know, sometimes you don't realize how much. Thanks for the work you've done with 1.2. For 1.3, could you look into sound effects, particularly for skills? They lack bass, impact, and make combat feel less satisfying. Yeah, I mean, there's sound effects for abilities is always being worked on. Yeah. That's nothing that is stagnant. It is always being worked on. I think our sound effects for movement for abilities in general has come a long way. You know, there's still room for improvement in every aspect, but yeah, it's rapidly improving, I would suggest. Outside of Sentinel being 50% of players because OP, is there anything in 1.2 that has surprised you coming from the players' interactions or other really good builds? I don't think there's anything that's been super duper surprising. I think Necromancer's been lower than how low Necromancer has been surprising, I think. I think that does speak a little bit to how good Paladin has been and Void Knight's been, Sentinel in general has been. And also just the fact that we've very openly said, hey, next season we're going to be focusing on Lich Necromancer a lot. I think that probably had the biggest impact, driving down the usage of Necromancer, because Necromancer is just like the tried and true, steady, you know, it's always packed with people no matter what we do. But this has been the lowest it's been ever, I think, and not because it's currently really bad or anything like that, but just because we've said we're going to make it better, I think. And I think Warlock was so heavily played last season as well. Could have affected it. Outside of the set, no, it's not. Would it be good quality of life if we could choose to reduce 0 corruption with the Sanctuary of Atera, so we could stay the same corruption with resetting your timeline? Currently, we can't, right? I think that's correct. I believe you can't reset without changing the corruption in some way. There's one option that reduces it almost nothing, though, and it's basically the same thing. There's been quite a few arguments I've seen for, the good arguments that I've seen for having more explicit control over the corruption value, where you can just more like D3 Greater Rifts, where it's just like pick the number from the drop down and that's the number it is. Yeah, there's good and bad things about having such granular control over it. I like because each individual point of corruption isn't that huge. Like the difference between 500 and 490 if you drop it 10, because the sanctuary has usually one option that's really cheap, really small drop, I think. And that difference, or even like if you find a shade near the start and it's like +2 or something like that, like that difference of just a couple corruption really isn't that big. And usually isn't the difference between like being able to do it or not, or finding a lot of items and not. It's a little bit bigger jumps that you need to like really make a huge impact. So I think I'd be more interested in having that direct control a little bit more if it was less granular of a mechanic, which I actually think I would prefer as well. But that's another story. I'm being reminded that I haven't put up any actual teasers yet. Bad, Mike. I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. I'm gonna try and get myself a little bit safer so I can do this without dying. Thinking about Hard Secret, we can just find everything that's even remotely nearby. Oh, I also missed a sub. Not bad. Nev Snow! Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Lester, don't get excited. I've been trying for a long time. Okay. Here's a little, just a little teaser for season 3, actually. You little wonder what that is. Looks familiar but different. Do you ever, after returning from a weekend, look at the telemetrics for damage or something and go, how did the leap? Did someone do that? No, I don't think so. I don't have a list of the amount of damage someone's done. I think the recent one about being able to beat Uberoth with Magic's only gear was pretty surprising. That was like, how? Their movement was so good in the fight though. They clearly did a lot of attempts. There we go. A little teasery do.
That was close.
I got one more. I got one more stashed away for you later. Curious if there are plans to allow us to combine macros and regex for stash search. I would like to be able to search specifically for something like T7 decks without using their ranges. Not for like right now. I think what we've got for it is probably what you'll see for it throughout season 2. But we are taking a good hard look at the stash in general, and improvements to be made there. So I think we'll be looking at feedback specifically on whenever we add a new feature like this. We always keep an eye on feedback pretty closely, because there's usually some low-hanging fruit or something that we've missed or forgotten or just didn't think about and like or thought no one would want, but then people do want. So yeah, putting stuff like that in the suggestions channel on our Discord is really good, and yeah, we'll be looking up for stuff like that. I think there's room for more stuff there, and yeah, just getting feedback from people of like, oh, I was trying to use the system and I came up with this situation where I wanted to search for XYZ and it just didn't quite work for that, and I really want to have that functionality, and like, yeah, that's the sort of stuff that we can generally add in. Combining it with regex will be tricky. I don't know. I don't know how that system's set up. Right now, to be honest, it was very much a surprise to me that it was even going in. I was not paying attention to that channel, and I wrote a document that like was trying to pitch changes for the stash and put that in there, and then 2 days later the stash macros and regex showed up, and I'm like, oh, just cross that part out. All right, how satisfied are you overall with Uberath, and how it has ended up in terms of difficulty and the fight as a whole? I'm very pleased. You said how satisfied. It's hard to satisfy me with things like this. I think there's always room for improvement. So, you know, fully satisfying is quite difficult. I'm very pleased with how it went, or how it's going this season. There's always like room for improvement and things like that. But I think the fact that, you know, I think the fight's really good. I think that some of the class imbalance and outliers is causing a little bit of weirdness with it. But you know, like the fact that we're seeing it completed by every class and every mastery, and with some masteries, multiple different ways to build your character to still be able to do it and that sort of stuff. Like, I think that's really good. I think the fact that it's doable with so many options is really good. But yes, it is dramatically easier with certain options than others, for sure. Yeah. Very pleased, not fully satisfied, room for improvement, very happy with how it came out. Any plans for adding more support to Bs, or even a B class? I think a B class is a stretch. But yeah, there's always room for more Bs in the game. Yes, I did answer that one already. Wait. What are your thoughts on balancing philosophy? Would you rather nerf the overpowered builds, Void Knight Paladin, or bring up weaker performing builds closer to the top? Yeah, this is we get this question a lot for sure. My answer changes very slightly every time, just because I don't have a written out answer for it. But essentially, it's a little column A, little column B. I think that if a build is there's lots of reasons why a build can be super popular, and when a build is incredibly powerful, if it's also just fun to play, just because it's like the way that it flows is nice, and the amount of thinking that's involved with it and the amount of skill expression that's involved with it, like fits within what a lot of people are after, that sort of thing. That's a build we want to preserve. That's a playstyle we want to preserve. That's something that we want people to have available to them. If they're having fun, we want them to keep having fun, you know? And so we at the same time, we don't want to have individual builds that are dramatically more powerful or dramatically weaker than other builds. So usually when we want to when we have builds that are like leagues better than everything else, we want them to still be top tier builds, but bring them down into reality, sort of thing. So if you have we can do a little drawing time. Let's paint a picture. Okay, so you've got build power. Oh god. Power. Close enough. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself. Okay, so you've got like, let's say we've got okay. We've got our ideal line of hey, here's the point that we want most builds to be able to, like, here's a high powered build that's doing really well in the game. Fantastic. And then we've got yeah, I guess that we only need the one line really. Then so we've got build A that is, let's say, poster child. It's perfect. It's doing great. It's like it's powerful. It's not overpowered. It's, you know, can maybe use a little tweaks or something, but it's quite good. And then we've got build B. Build B is struggling. Build B needs some love. It doesn't do so hot. No, people play it as a joke, but it struggles to get much done. And then build C. Oh my goodness. Dang it didn't work. Build C. Oh my goodness. It's broken up out of the confines of the entire graph, and it's just ruining everything. Wish I could draw straight lines with this easier. The goal is generally to bring build C down to where it is. It's back with reality. It's still above the line, still fantastic. It's still super powerful. It's still super awesome, but it's not. Oh my god, WTF! And then we also at the same time. I don't know why I'm using so many colors here, but I just love colors apparently. At the same time, we want to bring build B up. So it's having a good time and it's having some fun. And I think this is the general idea. So we keep most things within that like little bit above and a little bit below. I gotta do that terribly. Doing this sideways is apparently really difficult. Yeah, that's not terrible. Having most builds fit inside this like a little bit above, a little bit below of what our expected sort of like awesome range is, where things are above, like things are more powerful than others. Nothing's going to be exactly the same all the time, but having things fit inside that range is really nice. And so the goal is to bring up the things that are struggling to get into that range and bring down the things that are broken way above that range. But still keeping the things that are builds people are enjoying, play styles people are having fun with, that are really strong, still keeping those in that very high power range is really important to us. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed my terrible drawing. Can we get a deposit all button for the stash? So we just drop, so we can just drop loot quick and get back to playing. Yeah, I think this is part of the stuff that there's room for improvement on. We've been talking about. I don't know if any of this is going to happen or not yet, but the process of breaking up your combat experience with a little bit of town time, where you're like dealing with your skills or dealing with your stash and stuff like that, and dealing with vendors and all that sort of stuff. That's important. Having that downtime in town time, that's important. The ratio of town time to monster slaying time is also really important. That ratio needs to be fantastic. And like how frequently town time happens, how long town time happens, how variable town time is. These are all really important things that need to be dialed in quite a lot. And there's I think there's room for a lot of times quality of life things that get added to the game are to streamline town time so that it is a easier experience. It's less fiddly, it's smoother, it's usually shorter as well. And I think having things like this is definitely warranted with where we're sitting right now. So like things like, yes, a possible deposit all button, a possible like locking certain things button, just little things to make this process a little bit smoother. The improvements to the stash priority that we've been talking about, the like the new search functions, things like that. These all sort of like work together to improve that experience. And so yeah, that's, I think, a very reasonable request. Love to see it. I think there's things that need to go with it as well. But yes, if you'd like to see it, head on over to our suggestions channel on our Discord and drop it in there. I'm not quite sure why I'm like running away from the objectives. I'm going back for this one. What is my proudest moment here at EHG? I think crossing the Kickstarter threshold. Nah. That's the one that came to mind first. I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna roll with it. Oh, people want to know what build I'm playing. If you're looking for a guide for this build online, you will not find one because no one's dumb enough to write a build guide for this. I am playing. My main ability is Heartseeker. I'm using the reason it may look weird is because I'm using the VFX for it. So it's whatever. I like it. So I'm using it. So I'm using Heartseeker. We are physical damage, high recurve chance, crit focused on our Heartseeker, which is why the nodes I was looking at didn't make any sense for a second there. And then we're using Dart Quiver. We're passively dropping Dart Quiver arrows and also just dropping them a bunch when we're in a big fight. We're using Smoke Bomb for a little bit of offensive stuff and some defensive stuff as well. And just repositioning a little bit in a pinch. And we're using Shift for a little bit of cleansing, a little bit of invulnerability, a little bit of damage buffs, and just mobility in general. We are triggering Puncture when we kill enemies with Heartseeker. For just a little bit of clear on our damage build there. And what do we got for gear? It is, I'll go through it real quick. It is nothing fancy at all. We've just got some stuff that does physical damage and crit, and that's about it. You can roll it back and pause at any point if you'd like. Sorry, I went too fast here. But just a quick once over on it for you. Yeah, just it's real basic. Physical, Heartseeker, crit, puncture backup. I am really thinking about switching over to cold or possibly fire as well, because I found a lot of great gear for those two switchovers. And I'm kind of feeling like there might be a gap in physical bow options for uniques. It's kind of what I'm feeling right now while playing this. Keep finding cold and fire stuff. That's what I'm feeling. Who knows if it's real? Alright, you said Ellie Shaman take inspiration from WoW Shamans. Where are Summon Elemental and Wind Fury buff? Ah, yes. Summon Elemental is in Avalanche. Coldstone Elementals are there. Wind Fury is... There's a nod to Wind Fury somewhere. Maybe trying to remember it. I do not know where it is. There's a nod to Wind Fury somewhere in there. It's maybe it might just be a node or an item. Oh, I know there's one. He just got pitched and never got put in. I can't think of what it is right now. That's gonna kill me. Doesn't matter. I'll try and remember it. Has there been any effort to unify these sub skills like Burning Dagger into their own skill trees rather than being spread out on various main skill trees? No. There's a few skills that do this, and we like having some skills be function like this and other skills not. You know, like variety and all.
Too easy.
I don't think we have anything like that planned. Give me your set items. I want them all. There's no room at the inn. No room. What are we going to do? Yeah, like this sort needs to be better. Like there's a way you could organize this to really improve. Yeah. Whoever wrote this, ugh, just a filthy scrub. It was me. That's why I can say that. Will Electrify be brought to other classes, or will it stay as a feature of Paladin? Currently, the theming around Electrify is planned to stay as a holy theming, and like a holy lightning theming. And currently, Paladin's the only class that has access to that. So that's, I think, without a new mastery showing up on the scene or us having a pretty big shift there, it's likely to stick where it is, at least for now. Are there plans allowing bosses to drop unique perma companions from its Epoch? Bosses to drop unique perma companions, or things like boss cards we could place into belt slots. I'm not quite sure what this is about. I think someone's going to help me out with some ideas. Nope, also no idea what they mean. I apologize. I do not understand the question. Please help me out. What's going on here? There we go, that's better. Don't know what happened there. I mean, a Phantom Grip's always a nice thing to just slap in there. For fun. Let's put a Snowblind in there. I feel like getting some LP. The cold one, you know. Oh, do you guys have separate back-end and front-end developers, or is everything full stack? No, we do have separate back-end and front-end developers. We have people that straddle that line. No one's really like, I wouldn't say there's anyone that's exclusively, there's people that are exclusively back-end developers. And there's sort of like different, I guess, like types of back-end that you can talk about. Like, there's like networking back-end developers that like basically just do the networking stuff. They do other stuff too. And everyone that wants to weigh in on design stuff is always welcome to. We put out general calls for design stuff all the time, like, hey, we're implementing this new skill and we want ideas for nodes. Come tell us what you want, sort of thing. And so no one's really exclusively one thing or another. I don't think so much. But there are people that are very heavily split. All the shrines. Love it so much. Give me all your shrines. Yes, good. Good. Does he actually have stats on usages of all abilities? We have specialization stats that we can look at, but like for example, I'm using decoy right now. It's not specialized, so it wouldn't show up in that. And if so, why do you think which are least used, and why do you think it's Dancing Strikes? I think it's Dancing Strikes because of exactly what I was mentioning earlier about attack speed not scaling the use speed of the ability. And the move speed of it stays static with attack speed. So it does get damage from attack speed, but it doesn't get functional feel difference from move speed. And I think that's the reason why it is currently underused. The exterminator has been exterminated. Let's pull this all into the next one. Come on, keep going. Gotta go fast, gotta go fast. We had one. We're leaving it behind. We don't care about the gold. Oh. All right. How do you guys feel about rolling prophecies? I love the system, but rolling prophecies over and over to target farm specific type of prophecy gets boring. Yeah. I agree that it is less than ideal. That re-rolling, that constant re-rolling to find the specific one you're looking for is an optimal strategy. Like, that's unfortunate. Kind of all I got on that one. Sorry.
That was close.
Any chance to change the way that Rampage skill moves around while in Werebear form or something like Warpath? After playing Warpath, it feels clunky by comparison. Thanks. Probably not. I mean, so the theming of the two is very important. And when there are similar style abilities, we do try to find ways to make them feel distinct in their gameplay, so that they aren't just a recolored version of one on another's class. And so the, like, for example, with Warpath, and ouch, with Warpath and Rampage. I mean, Shield Rush and Rampage are probably the more similar options there, but we do try and keep things where they are a little bit distinct. You know, like a Werebear rampaging, it's a little bit out of control. It's, you know, it's a little bit less precise. I would really like to give it the ability to steer a little bit, and we've tried to do that a couple times. Had it working offline. Getting online to work is not quite as straightforward. But yeah, having it be like, oh, you can drift to the left or drift to the right type thing, I think would be a really good addition. That's what I'd like to see. And oh, I missed one. Oh my god, I missed a bunch. How did I miss everything? Was I just talking too much? It's probably during my terrible drawing. But Lang, welcome with the rating party. Mr. Bullet, thank you for the sub, appreciate it. And Appleg72 and Omnizite, appreciate you all. Thank you very much. We love to see it. And I'll get some more questions here. Ooh. Is there any way to have player poison chance apply to poisons? Is there any way to have player poison chance apply to poisons? There's something wrong with that sentence. It's breaking my brain. Or to no longer have them considered minions. Player poison chance apply to minions. Yes, that makes much more sense. No, I don't think so. Like, the minion stats have to stay minion stats. I'm sorry. You could have specific situations where minions inherited your poison chance. That could be a mechanic that we can do, where it's like an item that says like, oh, your skeletons have poison chance equal to your poison chance, or sort of thing like that. Like, that could be doable. But the base functionality needs to stay the same. And this right here is why this ping needs to be a different color. Just the two. Any thoughts on unlocking the highest blessing roll across characters for alts? Still keep the need to get it to appear in the first place, though. Yeah. Like flipping it from where it is now, like once it appears, you get the highest roll you've ever unlocked. No, I don't think so. I think it's I would you'd have a tough time convincing me that was a good idea. Not impossible. It would be a tough time. I've been blasting on Heartseeker this season. Thanks for making such a fun ability. What was the hardest part of developing that skill? This is gonna sound so dumb. Naming this. You see, it says a Heartseeker has an additional chance to recurve chance plus 30%. Naming that was the hardest thing. We spent like not a month solid, but like probably closer to 2 months in on and off debate on what that name should be. And it's still debated to this day. Should we change it? Should we change it? So the runner-up name for it was Pierce. So it's like Pierce chance and additional Pierce per. And the Pierce is a lot more evocative of the functionality, because the moment that it decides if it's gonna come back for another hit happens at the moment of the last hit. It actually knows, it pre-calculates that right at the very start, but it yeah, where it's like an extra pierce, that sort of thing, and it's yeah, Pierce already has a naming, it already has functionality implications for what's in Last Epoch already. So like Pierce, on every other ability that says Pierce, like it hits it, it pierces, it goes through, and it hits the thing behind it as well. But recurve only ever hits the thing that it's targeting, which I think is the main reason why we didn't go with Pierce. But yeah, call it Whistle. I'm sure Disney won't mind. Yeah, that was because yes, it's Mary Poppins' main ability, right? And so it was suggested. Are you planning to declutter the battlefield? Gold labels, loot beams, dozens of shards, glyphs, and runes. It feels overwhelming and distracting. Yes, I think the key target there actually is beams. Beams on items that you don't actually want to see pointed out to you. And yes, we had a discussion about that very recently, and oh my goodness me. Okay, don't let these ones get away. Where's more? There's more this way. Speaking, what a wonderful segue. So something you can do, you may just notice that I just did it there briefly, and you may come back here and hey, everything's pretty good. Clear up these things, get the glyphs. You can open and close your loot filter very quickly, and things reposition. Which we're working on a way to make you not have to do that step, or have it be a single button pressable. Because it can't be automatic. Because if you are hovering over something and it decides to update and the thing moves and you can't click on it, that would be crazy frustrating. So it can't be fully automated. However, there's definitely room for making that easier. Get some. I love this try. I love this echo. Just in general, it's just so much fun. It's so silly. Yeah, we got it. Nice. And right into the next one. Love it. Oh, we're getting close to the end. I got my other teaser out. Just terrible, I know. But it's fun. Let me have my fun. Alright. Any plans to add more other gold sinks? Also, any plans to decouple primarily quality of life upgrades like stash tabs from gold farming? I don't think... I don't think there's plans to decouple gold from things like that. I would love to see more gold sinks though in the game. I think that is a very good goal. Hey Mike, love your work. Thank you very much. You already said those. Sorry, love your work. Thank you. Recent computer science graduate here. Well done. Congrats. Congrats on your math degree in disguise. It's okay. I have one too. I know. Working on game development experience now. What sort of minimum expectations do you have for applicants to EHG? It depends wildly on what the position is. First and foremost, really enjoy ARPGs. Be a big ARPG fan and like be able to have a conversation for an hour about your favorite ARPGs and why you like them, and some cool story about the first time you killed you defeated Chaos Tristram, or you know beat some Uber boss, you know, like just or even just the first time you did like that sort of passion for ARPGs is the most important thing. As far as like what you're actually asking about, like experience and in actual development stuff, yeah, it depends wildly on the position. But I would say having if I see someone that shows up with a portfolio of a dozen like partially completed games that they've like personal project games, so they're like, I started working on this and it had this cool mechanic that I did, but then I stopped and I started working on this and it had this cool mechanic that I did. Those are really great for learning how to do individual things and developing your skills. Those are not super awesome for showing off. If you're trying to say like, here's things that I know how to do for developing a game. The things I want to see is, here's this game that I launched. It was pretty straightforward. It's very standard. It does. There's nothing special about these things, but it does this. Here's one cool thing that it does, and it's fully launched. And I put it out there, and one person bought it. I would much rather see that than these like super innovative like tester spaces that are unfinished project, things like that. Like I'd rather see a finished product, even if it's not very good, even if it didn't sell very well. I'd rather see that finished thing. So if you can push out a game yourself, just for fun, just to get through that process, it can be totally free and it can make you $0, and that's totally fine. But yeah, having those, having that complete experience of start to finish, like conceptualization to launch button pressed experience is really important. Because there's things that you'll encounter along the way doing that you won't, that have nothing really to do with game design directly and game development directly. But it's really important to have gone through that process and to feel that like I've got this deadline to get through. I've got to push the game out. The game, it's out there. People are playing it. I've got to release an update to fix a problem. Like that experience is so valuable, and that I think that's really important to have as well. So that's something that I would suggest is important. Passion is really key though. That's one of the most important things. As an example, before joining EHG, I talked to Jed after the fact, and he said this was not why he hired me at all, and that's totally fine. So maybe a bad example, but I'm with one of my friends. We made a first person basically the tutorial is first person Pac-Man, and then it balloons from there into like where you can go up and down and diagonal stuff. And but yeah, it basically is a Maze Runner collection stuff in first person. Yeah, it was originally designed for mobile, and I think we put it up for $1 or something, and I think 20 people bought it just for fun. It's great. It's probably not on the store anymore because of the like minimum API rules and things like that. It's probably taken down. I do have another app up there that is not taken down because I've had to redo it like 3 times because I keep losing the source code. But that one's free. And it was just because one of my friends was playing a coin flip deck in Magic, and I'm like, nope, you're using an app. I'm not sitting here for 1,000 coin flips, so I'm making you an app. Okay, enough of that. Here is a little teaser, a little season 3 teaser. It might not be obvious what this is right away, but I think you can figure it out. And there's some interesting stuff happening here. It's old, it's new, it's both. Will we see Weaver's bows sometime? Oh gosh, I hope so. Oh my gosh, I hope so. That was the 4th item that never got made for the scissors and the. I pitched a bow in those with those ones as well, and the bow one didn't get picked up. The other ones did though, so that was nice. Question from the Peanut Gallery: when am I getting my spork? we need to have a full cutlery set. Have a ladle, and like a bowl or something like that for a relic slot, and then have like an amulet with like a cup on it, like a mug, or a helmet that's like a really big mug with a helmet. I don't know. Slam a ladle and a trident. Chef set. Yes, Aaron, this is I guess you can see the icon at the bottom kind of gives it away. Lizard, welcome with the raiding party. This was enough to bring you in, was it? Yes, so this is new stuff for Rip Blood. The base functionality for it was, I think, this is one of our oldest skills on Acolyte, and I think it's was feeling a little dated. So I think this functionality feels a lot better, and there's a lot more room to build cool nodes for this as well. So, yeah, really, really, really excited for this. It looks great when it's visually converted too. Looks great. Okay, are we gonna do, which one are we gonna do first? Up the corruption first or do the boss first? Let's do the boss first. We're gonna get our butt handed to us, aren't we? Right? The way it works. We're full of stuff? We're not full of stuff. We got one thing. Let's drop it off. Oh, nervous Mike is nervous. Alright, any plans on prophecies that introduce quest lines? Maybe a unique one that leads you down a quest line for something special? I'd say it's unlikely, but it's a cool idea. I think I'd prefer to see something like that in its own system. Like a multi-tier prophecy. Yeah, it'd be cool though. It'd be really cool. So this one. Oh, ate that one to the face. Get you all down on your lowest bar. Yeah, you think you're sneaky, but you aren't. I shouldn't talk too much trash. Chances of me surviving this is very low. Very low. I think I've just got really lucky there. Yeah. Fire res is a pretty overcapped, isn't it, though? Yeah, this would drop us below. I feel like we kind of just leave it, unfortunately. Got ourselves an eye. Got ourselves an eye. Three eyes. Get yourself on the map. 15-minute warning. We are getting close to the end here. Everybody.
I'll be on it. You know all the
Have anything we need to talk about to any of these? I feel like there's something we should be talking. There's probably some update we have to get from these, some quests we have to do. I don't know. Any plans on props? Oh, it says, hey Mike, is there a chance we could have a blessing unlock be class bound instead of character bound? I unlocked my mass blessings on my Forge Guard and I want to level the Void Knight, but this makes me respec.
I welcome your tell me.
This runs into the same problems. It doesn't really matter if it's class bound or just account bound. Probably going to be a no. It's not impossible. If you want to see something like this, drop in the suggestions channel. I wouldn't get your hopes up on it, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Mainland's Hubris does not convert the bleed chance from Bone Curse into Ignite or the bleed chance from physical conversion Chaos Bolts. These bugs are intentional. These are I'd have to go check and see exactly what. Is it a bug or intentional? The way it works in game is how it is. If you think it's not if you think what's happening in game is not representative of the text that it's telling you, please make a bug report. Don't try and just make the bug report straight up. However, I will take a quick peek and look. What's this? The Bone Curse one is almost certainly working exactly as expected. Bleed chance in Bone Curse. Bone Curse has a chance to cause enemy. Yeah, because that's the hit that Bone Curse is doing, not you. Yes, Bone Curse is working correctly. Chaos Bolt. Bleed. Get damage to bleed. Yeah, this is all right. If you're talking about Sanguine Reverie in Chaos Bolts, that one might. I don't know if that one should convert or not. That one's iffy. That one's borderline. I think I was pushing Black Sun out a ways. Oh, I didn't do the shade. I can go back and do the shade. We're gonna do this. Where is this up here? We're gonna do the shade just because it's fun. Right, we're there. We're right there. Will there be a node in the new Rip Blood for full circle AoE? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I think it's a reasonable suggestion. Okay. Ow, my face. See this one, it'll be easier, right? Will we see more Weaver Tree nodes in Season 3? It is quite probable. I wouldn't expect to see very many, but especially as it is a pretty new system and where, you know, like we're just starting it up and getting things ready for it. I would say there's a good chance we'll be looking to do some. Mike, what are you doing? I think there's a good chance we'll do some stuff there. Let's just DPS it down and try and survive, right? That's how this works, isn't it? Apparently, it is how it works.
What's of yours?
All right, lovely. Up to 117. My goodness, it's so high. It was 118. That one's 118. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's the one we're pushing out. Can Swarmblade get a clone while in Swarmblade's form? A second Swarmblade, if you will. Like a Swarmblade minion, Swarmblade partner, a pal, a buddy. It's possible. There's already quite a few minions and minion things happening in Swarmblade. It would have to be from an item, I think. Be a cool item though. Oh, 67. It's not a lot of overkill. That is not a lot of overkill. My physical resistance is still hurting quite bad. I need to do some work on my gear. It's been a while since I've touched it. Is there any chance I can have a mana bar under my shield, a ward / health bar in the center? Would be a good addition for builds that cycle between a generator and spender. Yeah, I fully agree. I think that'd be very useful. You drop it in the suggestions channel on our Discord if you would like the best chance of it making it into the game. Yay! We did it. First try. Getting pretty close to the end here. If you got any questions, try and sneak them in under the wire. Do my best to answer them. I gotta get a couple more echoes in. Gotta do it. Some imprinted woven echoes have a very low spawn rate. What's the system behind it? So I assume you mean the... like if you are if you've imprinted an echo like this and the rate that it spawns at. So it's the ones that are on the left spawn a lot more frequently than the ones as you go further right. So it's like it's like this column is not less frequent than this column or more frequent than this column. It's this batch of 2 is less common than this batch of 2. So this it's the outlines. So like this shaped outline is rare, this shaped outline is uncommon, this shaped outline is common, this shaped outline is, or I guess common, uncommon, rare, mythic. There we go. What other game do you think I play a lot of? Yes, Wick, I am. What do you think about the current state of endgame? I'm taking a lot of my builds to about 700 corruption and beating Abroth. feel like I can probably push farther, but I don't know about Uberoth. I mean, that sounds like you're in a pretty great spot. You've pushed quite high, and there's like the absolute top tier content seems like it's possibly within reach, but you're not sure. Maybe with some grinding, some pushing, you could learn it and get up there. So like, I think that sounds pretty great to me. I feel like if you've like, I think you could probably beat Uberoth with some like not insignificant amount of farming and like studying on the boss fight sort of thing. It's a difficult boss fight for sure. It takes some time to learn it, and I think that's a good spot for it to be in overall. You know, it's not perfect, but good. There's always room for improvement. But overall, I'm very pleased with how it's come out. I think the biggest thing is that there are certain builds, like the balance, the build to build balance is what needs the most work. The end game content's in a pretty decent spot. Oh, look at them all. That would have been so awesome to end on. Too bad. Any goals for changing snapshotting in the near future or next season? I will not be before next season. Next season would be the earliest it could happen. I don't know if it will happen next season or not, but that would be the first point that it would happen at, if it did happen. It is something that we are actively working to fix. We do not have a solution in the pipe ready to go for snapshotting. It is something we've been working on for quite a while. We are very interested in removing snapshotting from the game. If we do manage to, when we do manage to remove snapshotting from the game, yes, balancing will be looked at for all of the classes that like to use snapshotting, because it is a pretty big hit to a lot of their power levels. Some cases it's not necessary to change anything. Some cases it'll be necessary to change a lot of things. So you know, we are. It is yeah. Snapshotting TLDR. Snapshotting bad. We're working on it. The champion mods are great addition, but I feel very tailored to current solve. They feel very tailored to current solve builds. The plans to add more. Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's the sort of thing that I mentioned right at the top of the stream before it really got going. I think that there's a lot of the systems that we've got in place now. I'm really pleased with a lot of the systems and where they're sitting, and that they've got a lot of room to just add new stuff to them. So like, you know, like the combination of the idle system and the blessing system and the set item system and the reforged set items and the champion mods and legendary potential into uniques and exalted items and the way all of these systems are working together to create build crafting options for a character, I think they're working really well. And there's lots of room for every category I just mentioned to have little things added to them, and a little bit like new mods in certain places, maybe new mechanics to just tweak the way they work a little bit in certain other places, and just little things to get peppered into all of those categories that we can do a lot faster than implementing an entirely new category. I think will be room for a lot of wins, which is just great going forward. And then also other systems get added in as well at the same time, because we love adding new systems. Do you have any huge regrets decision-wise about anything inside the game? Oh, great question. Yes, I can't remember what it is. There's something I said recently that I was like, I regret adding this system. Oh, what was it? I don't know. I know I've said this recently on stream where I was like, I really regret adding something. Art. We're right at the end of the stream. I'm not gonna remember this what it was. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna remember what it is. There's not many things. There are very few things. Nothing's coming to mind, which is a good sign, I think. I can feel it though. It's something right on the tip of my tongue. There's stuff we've had to remove. Someone probably knows what it is. I mean, what am I talking about? Nothing. Everything's perfect. The game's wonderful. I do think the game is wonderful, but you know, nothing's perfect. So, on that terrible disappointment, helmet that just got fixed, which is nice. It's time to end. Oh, there we go. I had a great stream today. I hope you all had fun. I know I did. I will be back same time, same place next week. If I did not answer your question, was something wrong with Crest? It wasn't changing the elemental tags properly when you had it equipped, but it's fixed now. If I did not answer your question, please head on over to our Discord. We've got an Ask the Devs channel. I do my best to answer everything I can in there. Other people are answering stuff in there too, and lots of community members that pop in while we're asleep. Yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, same time, same place next week. That's what I said. Let's go say hi to somebody. Who is doing cool stuff right now? Ooh. Doing some speedrun prep. I love speedruns. Love them. That's my like I don't know what it's called. Guilty pleasure. It's not really guilty pleasure because it's not weird or anything, but yes, I love watching speedruns.